All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the SCP Foundation archives to unravel the mystery behind one of their most enigmatic, deceptive, and frankly, downright terrifying entities. We're going to take a deep dive into the insane containment protocols, the ancient lore, and the literally staggering cosmic implications of SCP-017. So, let's just get right into it.
What happens when a shadow becomes a cage? Seriously, I want you to imagine something for a second. We all have that primal, super relatable fear of the dark, right? But what if the dark wasn't just, an absence of light? What if it was a physical, inescapable prison, a literal void that the absolute second it touches you completely erases you from existence? Well, that is exactly the reality of the entity we're looking at today.
Okay, SCP-017, the Shadow Person. Height, 0.8 meters. On the surface, the clinical data for this thing seems almost unassuming. It's basically the size of a human toddler. But there are absolutely no discernible features. It is completely encased in this swirling, shadowy cloud, a shroud that just engulfs absolutely anything that casts a shadow on it. We're talking objects, animals, people. If your shadow hits SCP-017, it violently pulls you in, shrinks right back down to its normal childlike size, and leaves literally nothing behind.
Keter, an anomaly classification for entities that are exceedingly difficult to contain consistently or reliably. And because of its absolute lethality, SCP-017 absolutely earns this Keter badge. For those of you who might be newer to the Foundation's classification system, Keter basically means good luck keeping this thing in a box. It means the Foundation has to bleed immense resources and set up staggeringly complex procedures just to keep it from getting out.
And to understand just how Keter we're talking about, let's look at the extreme containment procedures. It's kept in a suspended 100 by 50 by 50 centimeter acrylic glass cage inside a 6 by 6 by 4 meter concrete room. To stop anything, and I mean anything, from casting a shadow on it, the room is flooded with high-intensity spotlights. They're on the walls, the ceiling, the floor, pointing directly at the cage from every conceivable angle. Oh, and to keep those massive bulbs from instantly melting everything, the entire chamber has to be maintained at a freezing -6 degrees Celsius.
Now, think about the chamber maintenance protocol. Bulbs burn out, right? And when they do, maintenance crews have to go in. But they can't just walk through the front door. Step 1, they have to wear full-body insulated suits coated in reflective chromium. Step 2, never ever step in front of a functional spotlight. Step 3, do not cup your hands or keep your legs close together. And Step 4, they have to walk in this incredibly specific, loose, shuffling motion. It's terrifying precision. The slightest mistake, like just casting the tiniest shadow from your own leg, and you are instantly gone.
So, the Foundation, being the Foundation, they decided to test the limits of this thing by throwing it in a room with SCP-682, the famously unkillable reptile. Unstoppable force meets unmovable object. When 682 was exposed to 017, the giant reptile was actually backed into a corner. It let out this impossibly loud roar that completely fried the recording devices and somehow staggered the shadow entity. Honestly, analysts are still scratching their heads trying to figure out if that roar was an actual physical attack or some bizarre alien form of communication. But the story of SCP-017 actually goes way beyond the clinical science. We have to look at the ancient lore, specifically references to the second lost child. Texts designate 017 as an entity from the very early days of the universe. And get this, it is inherently opposed to humanity, or the children of dust, as the old texts call us. Ancient civilizations knew about this second child, but they purposefully destroyed most of the records under a really mysterious decree known as the Edict of Karnoff.
What is truly wild is how completely different groups of interest view this thing, usually with a completely staggering amount of hubris. The FBI's Unusual Incidents Unit literally just thought it was a deadly cave portal, calling it Pluto's front door. Prometheus Labs? They actually applied for a grant to use the anomaly as a cheap garbage disposal for highly toxic matter. I'm not kidding. And the anomalous artists over at AWCY, they viewed it as an avant-garde art piece titled Much Ado About Nothing, just totally blind to what it actually is.
But the absolute craziest perspective has to come from Dr. Wondertainment, the magical toy maker. We actually have a rejection letter for a toy proposal based on the anomaly. The letter straight up says, "Fun factor, after vigorous testing, has rated at 0.0. Unpackageable." Why? Because it completely violates their super safety guarantee by being 100% fatal to the consumer.
A literal toy that instantly deletes you from the universe. Incredible.
Jokes aside, though, other factions take it deadly seriously. The Chaos Insurgency and the Church of the Broken God view it as either a massive strategic asset or a holy relic. Documents show the insurgency desperately wants to capture Site-12, the remote Foundation-based Holding 017, completely intact. Meanwhile, the Church of the Broken God literally writes about it in their holy scriptures, viewing this hostile, shadowy void as a sacred portal to the underworld. It is universally important.
And all this massive competing interest leads us straight to a mind-blowing existential revelation. Fast forward to Site-12, January 2025. A Foundation researcher named Boyd sits down to interview another anomaly, SCP-52000. Now, 52000 looks like a shape-shifting vagrant, and he casually drops a bombshell. The Foundation has fundamentally misunderstood what they have locked inside that acrylic box.
SCP-52000 says this third rock from Fun is a storage depot for the unknowable. Let that sink in. He starts explaining the literal origins of the universe, claiming creation was just the result of two massive forces, music and dreams, crashing into each other. But they didn't fill in all the gaps. There was leftover junk from the early days of reality. Earth, according to him, was basically designed to be a locked jar for all those dangerous cosmic leftovers.
Which brings us to the warning. SCP-017 is waking up and reverting to its original form. That toddler-sized shadow trapped in the glass cage? Yeah, that's just its dormant state. 52000 warns that the Foundation is rapidly approaching a specific cosmic deadline, and this shadow child is starting to wake up, preparing to become something entirely incomprehensible.
So what does it actually want? 52000 spells it out, saying it wants to turn the clock back, to suck up everything with the taint of the original flaw. It doesn't just want to break out of the cage, it wants to hit the undo button on reality. It wants to suck up everything infected by what he calls the big glitch, which, unfortunately for us, is existence itself. SCP-017 is quite literally a cosmic reset button.
So let's break down the true nature of SCP-017. It is not just a hostile monster in a box. It is the universe's ticking clock. Its ultimate goal is total, absolute non-existence. And here's the kicker. Every single faction is secretly invested in stopping it. The reason 5200 is talking, and the reason rival factions are circling Site-12 is simply because none of them want to be erased. Those spotlights in that glass cage aren't just a Foundation prison. They are a desperate, universal attempt to delay the end of absolutely everything.
So if the shadow is meant to consume the universe's original flaw, what happens to us when the clock finally strikes zero? It is a pretty horrifying thought to chew on, right? We are literally sitting on a cosmic storage jar, holding an entity whose only job is to erase the flaw of creation. If those spotlights at Site-12 ever go out for good, well, that's it. The reset button gets pressed. Thanks so much for exploring this mind-bending anomaly with me. Keep asking questions, and I will see you in the next explainer.